listening to Sports Talk 916 with Greg Bull and Coach Greg Veroza.
If you'd like to participate in the show, there are a couple of ways to do it. If you want to contact us on Twitter, use the show's Twitter address, which is @SportsTalk916. For Greg B, go to @MrChief916. And for me, Coach Greg, it's @Greg Veroza. And Veroza is VAROZZA. And if you want to chat live with us, the best place to go is go to the Mixler page and hit chat. There you'll see all of us chatting together as the show goes on. And you'll see us chatting together as one big happy family. Hello, hi, how are you? This is Coach Greg Veroza, and along with my buddy over there, Mr. Greg Bull, Mr. Chief.
What up?
We are the two-headed monster known as Sports Talk 916. Somebody got some new sounds on his soundboard.
How can you tell?
So anyway, another great week in sports. Lots to talk about. And how was your week?
It was good. Always busy, kept things going. It was good. I cannot complain too much. I had a random Sunday off today, which was fantastic.
How'd you been in town?
Doing a little backfilling for my manager this week, so I get to sleep in 2 extra hours, and I get to have...
Legally.
Yeah, and I got Sunday off, and I don't have a day off till Friday, but it works.
A whole 5 days in a row you have to work.
With only 1 day off, yeah.
Wow.
It's all good, though. I still got a job. Can't complain.
Yeah, really. So, a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't have the show list, so I'm not sure where we're going.
Right in front of you.
I do? Oh,
yeah, right there.
I do. Oh, never mind. I guess I do.
Yep.
So, I guess we're going to probably talk a little bit of Giants and Phillies, right?
That's on there, yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit about free agency.
Mm-hmm.
And
the NFL draft?
NFL.
Well, we could.
We could.
NBA draft?
But we'll probably talk more about the NBA draft. And so anyway, there was a couple things that were kind of interesting this last week, and that was the hype by one Mr. Mike Barnbaum for us to do a live show. What do you think about that? Yeah,
Barnbaum was...
he was on fire, basically, on Twitter.
He was on full campaign mode for us. It stemmed from the Friday live Deuce and Mo Podcast down at Barwest. Deuce Mason and Morgan Reagan put on their show live. And it was cool. Like, the way that they set everything up, it was really nice. They had it over their loudspeaker. I was there. Keith Juggernaut was there.
I didn't get that invite, by the way.
It was just all over Facebook. There was no specific invite.
I didn't let you know that you didn't let me know you were going to be down there.
So. I didn't know I was going to be there until last minute.
Sure. That's right.
Mr. Barnbaum was there, and it was cool, and it really kind of makes me want to do a live show again.
That could be fun.
I think the perfect platform for it would be like we did a couple years ago when we did it at our live fantasy football draft.
But not during the draft.
Not during the draft, but before or after. Huh. But it definitely set something up. Obviously, it's a little bit more difficult with me, not working weekends. But they did an evening show. They probably had a good 30 or so people there.
Oh, wow.
Packed up the whole upper level of Bar West. And it was cool. So it really makes me want to try to set something up and
that'd be fun.
And get something going. So
that'd be fun.
There's that. But yeah, Mike was on absolute fire the whole time. I mean... Just, talking it up to anybody and everybody that would listen. I was looking at their setup and, talking to them about how they do different things, incorporating video and incorporating different sound and their cough buttons and just all the little things. And Mike walks up and goes, Greg, if you want me to, I will text you a picture of all of this or tweet you a picture of all of this stuff. That way you know how to do it as I'm taking pictures. And I'm like, no, Mike, my pictures are good. Like, I got it. And then we get to talk a little bit more. And then Mike is like, hey, do you want me to tweet you all of the information about who the Kings drafted? That way you have it for Sunday. And I look at Morgan, and she kind of looks at me like, just that dumbfounded look. And I was looking for my soundboard at that point. I'm like, come on, where is it? You know what I mean? But
hi, this is Mike Barnbaum.
But it was cool, and I got to talking to them, and they're like, yeah, Mike's always on Twitter, and bugging 1140 and this and that. And I was like, you know what though? That's what I love about Barnbaum is it's unsolicited. It's I've had people ask me, how much are you paying Barnbaum to advertise for you? And the thing is, he's just loyal to us, and
yeah,
we give him a hard time, and we definitely take our jabs here and there, but it's all out of respect. I mean,
absolutely.
Mike is a huge part of our show from afar.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that today at the airport for the new Kings players that Mike was in full form.
I wonder because I saw a picture of him and Isaiah Cousins standing together. I wonder how long it took him to go, okay, on Sunday nights, you need to listen to Sports Talk 916.
There's these guys in Sacramento. What if I told you that there's a podcast you should listen to? And so, no offense to Isaiah Cousins, but we were talking about this a little bit ago. He's an interesting looking gentleman.
Not a handsome lad.
Not a handsome young man. And I think that's the perfect example of what happens if Isaiah Thomas and DeMarcus Cousins had a baby. You get Isaiah Cousins.
Yeah, that's right, because he's about 6'4", 6'5", right?
He's right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
He has good handles. He's a good shooter. He's got a little bit of an attitude.
Got a little bit from mom, a little bit from dad.
Yeah, a little bit from Isaiah, a little bit from DeMarcus. He's going to fit right in, I think. Barnbaum, yep, yeah. Keith is quoting Barnbaum. Looks like we will have to have separate jerseys at the team store. But yeah,
yeah, because their numbers don't identify him as.
Gotta have that first name.
Gotta have the first initial.
I Cousins, D Cousins. Do you think that DeMarcus will put DMC Cousins? DM Cousins.
DM Cousins.
DeMarcus Cousins. But yeah, that was that. It was cool. It was nice to see some familiar faces down there. Do you recognize the name, or have you heard the name on 1140 and on I don't know if you ever listened to Deuce and Mo, but Creepy Dan? You ever heard them talk about him?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
He's a real person.
Is he really?
He was there.
Is he really creepy?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I called him Barnbaum 2.0.
Really?
So Barnbaum's not creepy, but
no.
This guy interjects his interesting opinions and takes on like the whim. Like we were talking about something, I don't remember what it was, and he's like, "Oh, I had to drive by Anaheim Stadium and wave at Anaheim Stadium," and we're like, "What? Like what?" And he brought up Anaheim Stadium like for baseball like 6 times in different conversations, and I look at Keith and we're like, "Dude, what the
crickets?"
Yeah, it was like, what the hell is this guy doing? But, it's Creepy Dan. And he gave Morgan flowers and he gave Morgan Rice Krispie treats that were still in the box. Like, I inspected the box for her. I was like, you need to check that box like you check Halloween candy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, see if you can take it to the hospital and have it x-rayed to make sure there's nothing in there.
CAT scan the Rice Krispie treats. And, like, roses. Yeah. He kept talking about going down to L.A. to boo the Rams. I was like, I could boo the Rams from my house.
That's right. It's cheaper.
And
the beer's a lot cheaper.
Whatever. But no, it was a cool experience. But yeah, we are going to talk NBA draft. That's coming up next. We're going to talk about the Kings draft woes. It's not on there, but we are going to do a top 5 list.
Yes, we are. Actually, we're going to do 2 top 5 lists.
We do have 2 top 5 lists. Greg Veroza is doing top 5 worst Kings draft picks of all time.
Right.
And I'm doing the top 5 best Kings draft picks, in my opinion, of all time.
Right.
So that'll be coming up. And then we're going to talk, I'm having a change of heart, a coming of age tale, if you will. If you saw our blog at sportstalk916.com, you've already seen it.
I did.
It's why it's time now to be a part of Team Cousins. And then we're going to preview NBA free agency. The Olympic roster is set for basketball. We may or may not have bingo or bullshit. Charles Barkley had some very interesting comments on LeBron James. I want to get your opinion on those. I do have an Are You Kidding Me?
So do I.
We had a gentleman's bet with the folks of Corner Pup Sports, which we will discuss.
Came damn close to losing it, too.
And there was I don't know if you heard me on Friday on their show.
I missed
talked
it.
Kings.
No, I wasn't able to listen.
There was a escalator added to that bet.
Oh, there was.
That you weren't aware of.
Oh, great. Thanks.
But it did not play out. We'll get to that.
So would it have cost me more money?
No, it would have cost you a lot of humiliation, though. The Giants continue to roll. The Giants and A's play this week. We'll do headlines and we'll do afterthoughts. So, with that being said, we will hear from Crandall Sports and Corner Puff, or Crandall's Cleaning Service and Corner Puff Sports, and we'll be back to talk about the NBA draft.
Sweet.
What's up, everybody? We are Corner Puff Sports, every week talking sports, beer, and beyond. You can find us live 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on wildfireradio.com or stream us on cornerpubsports.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Corner Pub Sports.
We look forward to seeing you at the pub every Friday night.
Cheers, guys!
Hey, man, what's up with the studio? It looks so much cleaner than the last time. I know I haven't been here in a week or so, but what the hell happened?
You know, I just got tired of cleaning it myself, so I finally gave Crandall's Cleaning Service a call. They came out, looks like this.
Damn, they did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing. Fully licensed staff came out, gave me a quick estimate, knocked it out in a couple hours, and they're going to come back on a monthly service.
What, are they going to do the rest of the house, or do that couple hours just cover the office?
A couple hours cover the office. That's all I had them quote for. But they do whole houses. They do offices. They do home stagings. They do everything.
Cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want your house clean, give them a call, 916-952-3620. Ask for Nick. Let them know Sports Talk 916 sent you. Like I said, they'll come out. They'll give you a special quote. They'll do monthly, bi-weekly, weekly, whatever it is you need for all your cleaning needs. They're fully licensed and insured. They'll take care of you the right way.
Sweet. I'm calling tomorrow.
Awesome. Remember, that's Crandall's Cleaning Service, 916-952-3620.
Another spray.
Yep, taking my Ray Lewis.
Is that what he was taking?
Yeah, so he got in trouble right before the Super Bowl, remember? He got in trouble
that's right.
for deer antler spray. Yeah, so in case you guys are wondering what the hell we're talking about.
Are we back on? I thought we were going to hear. Did we hear from Corner Pup too?
We did.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
In case you guys are wondering, I would fail every measurable drug test in professional sports for HGH right now.
I noticed your forehead's starting to get a little puffy right here.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Growing some antlers.
Yeah.
Deer antler spray.
You'd be a great deer hunter right now with all that deer piss all over you.
Just wearing it. Before we talk NBA draft, did you see this sad story coming out of Philly?
Yeah, I did.
So
I know which one
Ben
you're talking about.
Simmons, the number one overall draft pick that went to Philly, was at the draft, and he had his cousin with him. And that was Thursday night.
There's a picture that was on Facebook or something, and it showed Ben Simmons in front and his cousin coming through a door right behind him, and it was kind of eerie.
Right, and unfortunately, early Saturday morning, Ben Simmons' cousin in New Jersey was unfortunately killed in a car accident.
Somebody ran him down. It
was a
wasn't
hit
like
and run,
it wasn't like a car accident. Somebody hit him.
Yeah, pretty sad. So obviously, not a good way to end your NBA draft weekend. You talk about highs and lows of the draft weekend for the Simmons family. But the highs for him, if you want to consider it a high,
Oh, he's going to Philadelphia.
his draft was kind of a high and low. He gets drafted number one overall in the NBA draft, but he has to go to
Philadelphia. Yeah.
So
Who the fuck would want to live in that town?
I don't know. Ron and Sean aren't on, so we can't ask them.
okay.
But
I was hoping they were on, so we could
talk
start
about
a
talk about a crappy situation there. No, but Philly had a really good draft though. I mean, you really can't knock them for what they did. I mean, Colangelo set that team up for a really good situation out there. They were really aggressive, trying to make some trades that included Jahlil Okafor. They were trying to make a trade for Nerlens Noel.
There weren't a whole lot of trades except for I know. I just saw that.
Hold on.
I just saw that.
Damn it, Barn Bomb.
What now?
Mike, do not get me started on that weasel Jim Crandall, okay? I've been waiting for 2 weeks now for him to respond to a comment on his Facebook page in which I called him out, and he's a fucking chicken shit, and he hasn't said anything.
Really? Do tell.
So before the NBA Finals started, after Oklahoma City and Golden State Warriors concluded, Crandall went on and put out a headline on his Facebook page that said, "Is it time to start talking Warriors three-peat?" And remember, we talked about that briefly.
Yeah.
And then after the Warriors lose the finals, he puts out a story saying, I'm tired of people talking about next season already. How are they going to have the Warriors as the favorite? And blah, 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 blah. So I commented on there. I said, weren't you the one 2 weeks ago who said that it's time to start talking three-peat? And like 3 people commented on, like, yeah, I commented on that. He won't respond to it. He deleted my comment, blah, 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 blah.
Did he delete your comment?
He didn't delete mine. He deleted this other guy's.
Oh.
So I went in and I screenshotted his post, waiting for him to come back and say something along the lines of like, I never posted that. No. He won't do it.
Really?
Yeah, fucker.
Well, remember we ran into him. Where did he big league us at? Oh, he big leagued us at the River Cats
Media
Day last year. Not this last year, but the year before.
Yep.
Completely just blew us off. He just was just too good to even say hi to us.
We were on the concourse. We would have been around players.
Yeah.
We were getting our passes, and he's just like,
And we made some kind of comment at him, and it was kind of a funny joke or something, and he just kind of looked right through us like, you guys are idiots.
douchebag. Speaking of which, we need to get some River Cats games. We haven't been in a little while.
I know.
But NBA draft. So Ben Simmons goes number 1 overall to the 76ers. Brandon Ingram goes second. Those were the obvious 1-2s.
Right.
To the Lakers. Surprise number 1 of the draft, number 3.
Right.
Boston Celtics, who were actively trying to move out of that spot, take Jaylen Brown out of Cal. Now, hearing the stories about Jaylen Brown and reading about him prior to the draft, I was all on board with the Kings taking him at 8. That kid not only is intelligent, he's smart, beyond his age.
Oh, yeah.
He's represented himself. He doesn't want an agent to cloud his judgment. He's just amazing as far as the mindset of a young man going into the NBA draft.
And to hear him talk, they interviewed him, and to hear him talk, he could string words together and sentences and
very intelligent.
Yeah, no, he was.
And not to mention, he's good.
Yeah, and he's a Cal Bear.
And now he's a Boston Celtic.
For now.
Phoenix took Dragan Bender. Don't know who that is. Chris Dunn, another player that was high on the Kings board from Providence, goes 5 to Minnesota, which leads me to wonder, have we seen the last of Ricky Rubio in Minnesota as July 1st
I think so.
season?
Is he restricted or unrestricted?
I'd have to look, but I think he'll be traded.
Yeah.
Another player on the Kings' radar, Buddy Hield, goes 6 to New Orleans, which pisses me off that Vlade wasn't able to try to move up 2 spots to get Buddy Hield.
Don't get me started.
TJ says Minnesota was trying to shop Rubio when they drafted Dunn.
Yeah.
I believe that 100%. Jamal Murray goes 7 to Denver. And then we get to number 8.
I've been warming up for a whole week for this.
Right before the Kings draft, they're on the clock. Everyone's phones and Twitters and Facebooks and Instafaces and Facegrams and everything start going crazy.
Yep.
And there's notice of a trade with Phoenix. And you're looking through Twitter and everything like that, and Chad Ford and a few people. Yeah, MySpace was blowing up like crazy. You're listening to 1140 Grant.
Kick? Is that one? Kick?
Yeah, Kick. Yeah, my Kick was blowing up. Snapchat was going nuts.
Yeah. My
Friendster.
Tinder wasn't affected though.
People were still swiping left on you.
Exactly. Which is really sad. It's true.
Fucking Carmichael, Dave, and Grant were live from Firestone, and they were going nuts because someone put out a tweet. I believe it was Chris Mannix of SI.com, or it was either him or Chad Ford. Both.
I think it was Chad Ford.
Both idiots.
I think it was Chad Ford.
Put out a thing that says, Kings trade 8 to Phoenix for Brendan Knight and the 13.
And I bit hook, line, and sinker on that.
Everyone did. You texted me.
I did. I'm like, Vladdy's the new king. Long live the king.
Then
the truth came out.
Then it was, no, it's Eric Bledsoe. Okay, cool.
Just still take that.
I'll take that. I'll take the knees, let's risk it.
Absolutely.
And then it's neither of those guys, and they threw in 28, and then Bogdan Bogdanovic, who won't be here for another year. And you're like, okay, whatever. And then, so the Kings draft, and they take Marquise Chris for Phoenix. And I feel bad because down in Elk Grove is where Marquise Chris grew up.
Pleasant Grove, I think he went to high school.
And there's a couple of my friends that were there at his draft party.
Oh, really?
His watch party. He had one in Elk Grove at one of the Bull Wings or somewhere down there.
But he was in New York, though, wasn't he?
He was in New York, but his family and everything had a draft party. And place went nuts. And
that would have been so cool.
Yeah, probably the one guy in the whole NBA draft that wants to play for the Sacramento Kings, and they deal him away. So that happens, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever. You know, we got some picks. Vlade made some moves. The guy they didn't want at 8, wasn't necessarily there.
Right.
So we'll move back. We'll get some extra picks.
Right.
Now we have 3 first-round picks because Vlade had just moved Marco Bellinelli to Charlotte for number 22.
Right.
So now the Kings sit with 13, 22, 28.
Right.
And they have Bogdan Bogdanovic, who arguably is going to be a good player.
It makes you think about Peja. Same thing that happened to Peja. Same thing.
Except the reason why Pedro was there is because he was honoring his contract with wherever he was playing. Bogdan Bogdanovic has the ability to get out of his contract, but he's staying because if he waits one more year, he falls out of the rookie scale for pay, and then he gets paid as a veteran.
Oh, is that what it is?
So there's that.
Nice.
And then 13 comes. And this is when the night gets interesting. So there was already...
Interesting is a good way to put it.
There was already rumors that the Kings were in conversation with the Lakers for D'Angelo Russell.
Would have even taken him.
No, and...
I would have taken him.
My thought with that was the only way a D'Angelo Russell trade is happening, just like last year, is DeMarcus Cousins has to be included in this. And my thought was the only way DeMarcus is going to get included is if Brandon Ingram's included. There's no way that deal's going to happen.
Right.
Wash that talk off the board.
Right.
There's no way in hell.
Right.
Then they draft 7'2" Georgios Papagiannis, Papa John's, whatever you want to call him, out of Greece, right? And you're like, just took a center.
You know what my reaction was? We took a fucking center.
There's your audio.
There it is,
for
TJ.
you, TJ. We'll get that cut next week. That was loud though. God damn, give me a warning next time. So they take a center, and I'm guessing that's DeMarcus Cousins' initial reaction as well, because immediately there's Twitter, DeMarcus Cousins, Lord give me the strength with 2 praying hands. And you're like, okay, maybe those talks with the Lakers haven't died down. Maybe they haven't gone away.
What?
I'm not even gonna no.
What? Why would? Oh,
The
Hornets.
Yeah, we got it. So whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Maybe
Jinx, by the way, you owe me a Coke.
right. So I'm like, maybe the Lakers talks are still going on because why wouldn't they? Why would they take a center if they're not going on, right? And you're like, okay, we'll just let it go.
Okay, so the guy, can always use a backup center. That way you can keep DeMarcus out on the 4 and play him as a stretch 4 because he likes to shoot the 3-point shot. But
right.
We can always use a backup center. That's fine, even though we already have 3 of them.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, so does that mean that Costa Doofus is gone?
Probably.
Or are they
Who knows?
Are they shopping Willie? Like, what are they doing? Because obviously Vlade's doing something.
Right.
And then
It gets even more interesting.
And then the draft continues, and why can't I find the second round draft board? No. Yeah, round 2. There you go. No, I need the end of the first round.
Yeah, you need the end of the first round.
So they get Georgios Papagiannis, trade to Sacramento. And you're like, okay, cool. And then 22 comes, and they take, the Hornets take Malachi Richardson. He's a shooting guard from Syracuse, 6'7", and that was one of the positions the Kings needed.
Yeah, and that was it was an all right pick.
However,
at that position,
this kid is raw. He's not a very good shooter. There's a lot of question marks, and I was listening to ESPN, and at one point, a comparison they made to him.
Oh God,
was Nick Stauskas, and I about cried. It scared the hell out of me. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, did they not learn about fucking Sauce Castillo? Okay, so move on from that one, and then the 28th pick rolls around, and what do? They take a 7 foot tall. They're calling him a power forward, but he's essentially a center. Out of Kentucky, Skal Labasiri, probably butchering his name, but another center. And you're like, what the fuck?
Well, so I think I can see what they were doing. There's always that age-old question of, do you draft for need or you draft best available? And in that instance, they were taking the best available because this kid was projected to be a lottery pick, and he dropped.
Okay, but they could have taken, if you're going to go best available, instead of Malachi Richardson, Furkan Korkmaz, he's a player out of Turkey.
Right.
Shooting guard, much better player than Malachi Richardson, who went four picks later. And then DeJounte Murray, who ended up going to the Spurs at 29. And Damian Jones, I'm sorry, wrong player. DeJounte Murray, point guard. Kings kind of need a point guard.
Kind of could use one.
We have one that's an impending free agent in Rajon Rondo, who says he's open to coming back to Sacramento, but he's he's interested in the Knicks and the Nets.
Right.
Obviously, the Derrick Rose trade might eliminate
the Knicks, yeah.
Seth Curry is not a starting point guard in this league. He's probably better off to be a 2 if he comes back to the Kings.
Right.
And then you have Darren Collison, who's facing a year in jail if he's convicted of his felony.
Misdemeanor. Misdemeanor.
The misdemeanor charge. He's still
misdemeanor.
Still a year in prison.
Year in prison
for domestic violence. So most likely he won't be around. So if we look at it right now without drafting a point guard, you know who our starting point guard is going to be next year? If you look at people
Seth Curry,
now,
right?
No, Seth.
No, because he's a free agent, huh?
Yeah. The only player the Kings technically have under contract who could come in and play point guard, David Stockton. or since I think Vlade.
I know where you're going with this.
I think Vlade had Sam Hinkie in the room because he took so many fucking centers.
I made that comment.
Right, and I tweeted DeMarcus this. I said, work on your handles because you're running point next year.
Yeah.
At this point, they're going to run, it's tall ball. And that's what TJ keeps calling it, tall ball. So there was some concern, obviously. I'm trying to be positive. Keith says keep the faith. The only thing that's making me or helping me stay sane in this situation is some of these players were drafted because other GMs wanted them and their potential trade bait. That's
I got another take on it. This was a horrible draft.
It was a bad draft.
This is a horrible draft. My prediction is you go back and look at this draft in 3 years, 4 years, there'll be 4 players that have made any kind of impact in the league whatsoever. The rest will probably, I would say at least half of the first round will probably not get a second contract. I just don't think it. So at first I was pissed. It was like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? But then you go back and look at it, and you look at the other drafts in the last few years, they're not good. There's 2, maybe 3 players in each draft that really make any kind of impact, and then there's 3 or 4 that kind of surprise you. But there's never, you never see all the first round players make a big impact. You don't ever see, more than about 4 or 5 of the second rounders make an impact. So after really thinking about it, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. I think they could have done a better job of trying to fill holes, but I think that they're going to spend their time and their money on free agents. They have to.
There's no, but here's the deal. Are you going to really just going to slide all these guys down arena?
I mean, if they're bad, they're bad.
Yeah.
If they're bad, they're bad. If maybe they thought that while they were the best players in this draft.
No, Mike, no. No.
What'd he say?
He said he's basically regurgitating Grant Napier on Ben McLemore. He says, as far as this being a horrible draft, you don't know that for sure. Give it 3 years before you pass judgment. Mike, I'm going to tell you this. Well, when we get to this in here in a few minutes, when we talk about Team Cousins, I'm going to tell you why you don't have 3 years to wait for this to play out. It's now.
No, and Mike, I agree with you. I mean, you can't judge a draft on draft day. You can't judge a draft after the first year. You need, I don't know if you need 3 years. I think you definitely need 2 full seasons. But you can't. That's to proclaim it a success. You can proclaim the draft a bust right away.
Right.
You know, Thomas Robinson didn't get a whole year. He got about half a season and they shipped his ass out.
Stauskas, same. He got a year.
Yeah. This isn't the experts are all saying that there were 2 players in the draft that will make any kind of impact at all, that have any chance of making an all-star team at any point in their career. And then there's about 8 or 9 guys that are, okay, they'll probably be 8th, 9th, or 10th guys on their team. And the rest are crap. You know, so that's why I really don't care what they drafted, because I don't think there's anybody that's really going to make a big impact. I really don't.
And here's the deal. Here's how you know it was a weak draft. When you have Ben Simmons and Ingram going 1-2, and then you have Chris Dunn, Buddy Hield, you know, all these other names, Dragbar Bender, all these guys, and every expert from top to bottom basically said any of those guys can fall 3 to 8.
Yep.
When 3 to 8 is essentially the prime position in a draft, there's no need to try to move up. There's no need to try to,
Right.
you know, you might be able to try to move back. Vlade said in his press conference that he wanted to, he tried to move up to get Chris Dunn, but Minnesota's asking price was too high. He tried to move to get Buddy Hield. The asking prices were too high because 3 to 8, they knew they had a prime spot.
Right.
And ultimately, the Kings had a prime spot, and you got to give Vlade credit. He did do the right thing in getting more picks. It's just now did he make the right picks?
Well, again, I and you know, sometimes you have to consider the delivery on this, but you know, I think Barnbaum is right. You aren't going to tell for a couple of years. Again, you can tell if they're a bust right away, and that's going to be easy. This draft, from what I heard and what I read, was there were really 3 to 5 levels of draftees. There were the first 2 guys, and they were head and shoulders above everybody else. There was 3 to 8, which was the second tier, which were pretty interchangeable. From 9 to 23, again, all interchangeable. There wasn't a standout in there in that level of draftees. And then there was just a bunch of garbage.
Keith thinks that Papagiannis could be the steal of the draft. He could be. He could
Very
be.
could be.
You know, who knows?
And you know, the thing that nobody's talking about is Bargnani or whatever his name is.
Bogdan Bogdanovic?
Yeah, Bogdan, whatever. We're just calling Barney.
Bog?
Yeah, Bog. So, you know, Bog, from what I've read, is an amazing shooter, compared a little bit to Peja. That might be the thing that Vlade can hold his hat on or hang his hat on. Yeah. So anyway, again, you can't judge it right now, but you can tell if it's a bust. And I think this draft is. I think there are 2 players that.
Barnbaum wants to know do we still owe Chicago and or Philadelphia a player, or has the league officially declared that null and void? If not, does that occur in 2017 or 2018 draft? So, Chicago. I may be wrong on this one. I believe that this was the last year of our deal with Chicago. So if they didn't get our pick this year, it's done. There's no more protection in Chicago for our
I thought
pick.
there was don't they get a second round?
I think
pick?
they get a second rounder, but no more first round protection on a draft. That goes all the way back to J.J. Hickson.
Right.
Which is unbelievable that that's still haunting us. And Philly still has one more year of our pick swap availability. So if next year we draft higher than Philly, they can swap with us. Hopefully the Kings will get a new cell phone by then and they can pull the whole new phone, who dis? But I still think that's one of the best Twitter interactions ever. One of the best things I've ever seen in my life on Twitter.
I didn't see that.
So when the lottery happened, Philly got 1, Kings got 8. The Kings Twitter account tweeted Philly's account and was like, "Hey guys, you guys ready to talk about the pick swap for this year?" And their response was, they quoted it, and it was, "New phone, who dis?" And I was like, that's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It was great. So yeah, so Philly still has silly Philly. Philly still has
silly Philly.
Silly Philly. They still have 1 more year of that pick swap, but then that goes null and void. And TJ's talking about the SIG store because my tweet that I put out of Vlade's cell phone. Said he had one of those little jitterbug phones. He could call his wife Vivek, DeMarcus, and the cigarette store. Those were his only 4 options. But there's that. So that's the Kings draft woes. Before we get into talking about Team Cousins and NBA free agency, let's go ahead and...
1. Hi, this is Mike Barnbach.
It's time for the top 5 list. I'm looking, and real quick before we get to that, did you see Derrick Rose in his press conference? He says, I don't know why they traded me, but I just want to say thank you for trading me. I thought that was great. Top 5. You want? Let's
talk about this. So,
let's start negative or start positive? We just did a lot of negative.
Yeah, we'll start positive. So when we were talking about doing our top 5 list, we talked about doing Kings draft picks. There's only so many, and we probably would have had all of the same players in just different orders. So
right, you would have had Weber as your number 1.
Well, he wasn't a draft pick.
Just kidding.
So we decided to kind of split it up because I think we'll have some interesting takes on who's the best and worst draft picks of all time.
Yep. So we will start with mine. Honorable mentions for best draft picks: Brian Grant. I think he was a great pick by the Kings. Otis Thorpe. Tiny Nate Archibald, or Nate Tiny Archibald, however you want to go by it. And because of the fact that it was just a hometown, kind of a tearjerker story for me, Michael Yogi Stewart getting drafted by the Kings. Yeah. But I'll go ahead and I'll go through this. So number 5 for me, and right now it's still a little bit undecided, but I think ultimately the way that they're using him currently as essentially the face of the franchise, his upside, his work ethic that he's been putting in this summer, I have Willie Cauley-Stein at my 5. I just think that the ceiling is ultimately the highest it's been on a draft pick in a long time. He's working his ass off this offseason. He's been the face of the franchise over in China. He was the one that revealed the new jerseys. I think the Kings see something special in him, and I think that it's something that we're going to see grow into a great player going forward for the Sacramento Kings. Number 4, Jason Williams. He brought life back into an essentially dead franchise in 1999. The team was flat. No one cared about basketball in Sacramento very much anymore. It was right after they got rid of Richmond. Everyone was just down on their luck. Williams essentially ushered in the new era of Kings basketball,
along with Weber and
Vlade. But he was the catalyst to it.
I disagree with you.
So let me rephrase that. Vlade was the catalyst to it, but Jason was the energy. He was the spark plug that brought everyone looking at it. Look at this kid. Where did he come from? Amazing player, and he was just a fan favorite from the start.
And he was a human highlight reel too.
Yes.
So.
Elbow pass on you, bitch. That's right, Keith. White chocolate was amazing. Was I the only one who thought the team would get better with Richmond gone? No, not necessarily. I think it was just, there was a lot more optimism back then when you make trades like that because you have to look at it differently. I think a lot of people were pissed off that it was Weber they got rid of him for, especially since Weber didn't want to be here until his dad told him to shut the fuck up and come, which was great. Number 3, DeMarcus Cousins. Amidst all the controversy and attitude and things like that, DeMarcus is right now and has been for the last couple of years the focal point to get us into that era of promising basketball again. And while he hasn't got us there, there's so much more that doesn't fall on his shoulders that is a reason why he's not there. But he is the piece that could have been
absolutely
to the next level. Number 2. And this comes from the 1996 draft. The 1996 draft included the likes of Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, Ray Allen, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, to name a few. Number 14 pick, Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah.
Ultimately, one of the best Sacramento Kings draft picks ever.
Yep.
Leading franchise, in 3 points. He was a 3-point, champion, all-star, everything you want to think of. And he has the most famous air ball in Kings history, which was in the playoffs, which I will never let live down. But you cannot argue Page's impact on this franchise.
Right.
And as a draft pick. But the number 1 overall draft pick of the Sacramento Kings, of the Kings franchise. I'm not saying Sacramento Kings because he doesn't fall into this.
Oh, you went way back.
1960, Oscar Robertson.
Ooh.
The number 1 pick
it
was the Cincinnati Royals at the time. Kansas City Royals at the time. Big O.
Cincinnati Royals.
Or it was Cincinnati. Big
Royals.
O is the best draft pick the Sacramento Kings have ever had in their franchise history. Well, the Kings have ever had in their franchise history.
Yeah, I didn't go back that far. I stayed in the year. You're right. And going back and looking at it, there were very few drafts where they didn't end up where they were with the best player available or the player that turned out to be the best. You know what I'm saying? So, when they pick certain players, if you look at all the rest of the players that
Damn it, Barn Bomb.
What now?
I know that Isaiah Cousins is not the brother of DeMarcus Cousins. That has been proven. Is Isaiah Cousins the cousin of DeMarcus Cousins?
Mike's
this is Mike.
He's on a roll tonight.
No, Mike, he's not. We already talked about this. He's the son of Isaiah Thomas and DeMarcus Cousins. You know what's crazy? Nate Archibald in the draft that he was taken in, I think it was 1970 something. 19 rounds, 236 picks were taken in that draft. What the fuck?
Well, there was 7 or 8 rounds up until about 90, 89, somewhere in there.
Crazy.
All right, so the worst picks in Sacramento Kings history, and what I did is I went and looked at, based on where we picked, who we could have had we drafted right. Okay? So my honorable mention is 2014, and that's Sascasio. The problem is, it was a shitty draft, and there was nobody any better than him that was drafted after him. So he was a shitty draft pick. The problem is, there was nobody there to pick after him. Okay, so that's my honorable mention. Number 5, the one and only time that we had the number 1 pick in the Sacramento Kings era,
The Purvis.
1989, we drafted never nervous Purvis Ellison.
The pervert.
We could have had Sean Elliott, who was drafted number 6. We could have had Tim Hardaway, who's a Hall of Famer. We could have even had Vlade, who was drafted at the end of the first round. We took Purvis Ellison, and I think he lasted about 3 years.
Terrible.
Yeah. Number 4.
Wait, hold on. I got something for this.
Boo! You suck!
That was the Kings draft fan in that draft.
All right. Number 4, 2008. We drafted Jason Thompson. Okay. Good player. Nice guy. Everybody kind of likes him. He's just somebody that's going to get his stuff done. He's held on for a while. Number 1 record holder for most games played as a King, and probably for the most losses as a King, too. We could have had Brandon Rush, Ryan Anderson, and Courtney Lee.
Fun fact, this offseason, 2 of the top Kings free agent targets are Ryan Anderson and Courtney Lee.
Number 3, 2011. Now I didn't write this down.
Oh, God.
We drafted Bismarck Biombo.
Biombo.
Boo! You suck.
Actually, he doesn't. He balled out of his mind in Toronto this year in the playoffs, but
still.
But he got traded to Charlotte for the rights to.
That's what I needed.
Jimmer Fredette.
Oh, that's right, for Jimmer. So we ended up.
Boo! You suck.
So you know who we could have had, don't you?
Fucking anybody else?
We could have had Klay Thompson, Brandon Knight, Kawhi Leonard, or Iman Shumpert. What did we end up with?
We ended up with 12 seconds of crickets.
Number 2 worst draft pick in the history of the Sacramento Kings. 2012, Thomas Robinson.
Oh, no! We suck again!
We took him with the 5th pick, even though none of the experts thought he would even get drafted in the first round. Know who we could have had?
I don't want to know.
Damian Lillard,
God damn it.
Andre Drummond, or Harrison Barnes, who, by the way, couldn't shoot for shit. But and then the number one. This is depressing, isn't it? The number one all-time worst draft pick was our first one in 1985. We took with the, I believe it was the 5th pick.
I'm looking at it right now.
Joe Klein.
Yep.
Mean Joe Klein. Nice guy. Great guy. I talked to him a few times. He was at the, all the reunions this year. See the list of people we could have had? Chris Mullen, Detlef Schrempf, Charles Oakley, Karl Malone, AC Green, even Terry Porter.
You forgot Patrick Ewing?
No, Patrick Ewing was the first pick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're
Patrick
right.
Ewing was the first pick.
Wayman Tisdale was the second pick.
Yeah.
We could have Bill Winnington. I mean, we ended up having Bill Winnington.
And we ended up having Wayman Tisdale, too.
Yeah, but Jerry Reynolds? I don't think it's the same Jerry Reynolds we're used to, but...
No, it's not.
You forgot one, though. And I gotta... Hold on. I gotta double check this real quick here. Joe Dumars was available in that draft as well.
Yeah.
Where did the Kings draft in this draft?
Just go to Wikipedia.
That's what I'm on. Do we not have a first round pick in this draft?
That 2002?
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't go all the way back to...
No.
Hold on.
I stayed in the Sacramento area.
Right. Hold on. The fuck? Hold on. This is great. Great radio, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right. We're known for it.
Right.
I can read barn bomb text.
Yeah, go for that.
Let me see here. Keith Jugonitis. AC Green remained a virgin his entire NBA career.
He did.
I know. Give me a Mike Barnbaum.
Damn it, Barnbaum.
What now? No, I want the other one.
Hi, this is Mike Barnbaum.
So, Jugonitis texts, AC Green remained a virgin his entire NBA career. True story. Barnbaum, hi, this is Keith Jugonitis.
Love it.
Mike, when you're funny, you're funny. When you're not, you're not.
You're definitely not. Barnbaum, don't even start. Yeah, that's our top 5. So
What was the one you were looking at?
I was looking at 84. I couldn't remember where Jordan went. I couldn't remember where the Kings...
he went 6th.
He went 3rd.
Oh, he went 3rd.
But the Kings drafted 9th with Otis Thorpe that year.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's ridiculous. Like, my dad brings up the Joe Klein thing all the time, just saying, can you imagine if we could have got Karl Malone? You know what I mean? And it's just...
Yeah.
And then, even with the Otis Thorpe draft, they took Otis Thorpe. 3 picks later, John Stockton went off the board.
Yeah.
So, like... Fuck, man.
Oh, there's another one, too. There was another one that I wrote down. Oh, 1986. We had the 10th pick. We traded it to Detroit, who picked John Sally. We had the 17th pick. We picked Harold Presley.
Ooh.
Again, good guy, decent player, not John Sally.
Well, you technically could even go back to, you could look at the DeMarcus draft. You know, there was a couple good players taken before DeMarcus. You can go back to the Tyreek Evans draft. You know, Curry went 2 picks after Tyreek.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of swing and misses when it comes to
right. But I mean, I wouldn't say Tyreek was a swing and miss his first couple of years, but he's not Steph Curry.
I don't know why my dogs are barking. Why, if you're listening, shut the dogs up. All right, let's do this now. It's time for my dramatic change of heart.
What if I told you?
No, it's your music. DeMarcus Cousins. So I've been extremely hard on the whole idea of trading DeMarcus. Gotta trade him. The time is now. Gotta trade him. We both have. This show historically has been on the trade DeMarcus bandwagon. And it's not because we don't like DeMarcus Cousins. It's just looking at the bigger picture. There's no time to keep him, basically, at that point, you know? And this music's fucking weird. You know, and I sat back and I thought about it after the draft and after his outburst on, well, not really outburst, but after his tweet on Twitter. And it got me to thinking that this is the one time, in my opinion, that DeMarcus truly needs to be untouchable. And I say that because this is the first time in his career, aside from Michael Malone, that he's getting along with the coach. He is embracing the vision of the front office, the direction they want to go. This is the first time in his career he's came into camp in shape and healthy. He's down 20 pounds. He's never been anti-Cousins, just anti-Cousins attitude.
Yeah, no. Come on, Keith.
He's 20 pounds lighter. He's healthy. He's been working hard. He hasn't been going on his trips to, you know, the Caribbean and Vegas and everything like that. He's been working hard not only to get ready for Team USA basketball, but he's using that as a platform to get ready for Sacramento Kings basketball. Like I said, he's getting along with Coach Yeager. The team actually has money to go out and spend on some free agents to get the team to be better. There's a lot of positives that we haven't seen in a long time here. And this is the last season that the Kings have the opportunity. This is the last half season that the Kings essentially have the opportunity to lock DeMarcus Cousins in beyond next season.
Is he restricted or
unrestricted?
After next year?
After next year.
Oh, okay.
So it's win now. If this team is not winning by the All-Star break of this season, the team has to trade DeMarcus Cousins. And the reason why I say that is next year, he's unrestricted. They don't even have bird rights on him. They get zero compensation if DeMarcus Cousins leaves after next season. If this team isn't winning and isn't knocking on the door of the playoffs, there's no chance of him re-signing here in Sacramento. He's going to go elsewhere. He'll be 9 years into the league. He's not going to spend another 2 or 3 years trying to win here. He's going to want to go somewhere to win. And it got me thinking, how much patience can you ask this guy to have? 8 years to put a winning team together. And like I said, a lot of it does fall onto him. But at the same time, how many times has the Kings just fumbled on making the team better? Poor coaching decisions, poor, front office hirings. They had the drama of the move 4 years in a row.
It's been a clusterfuck for the last 10 years.
So I think you have to win now. Otherwise, you have to look to move him, because going into next season, DeMarcus Cousins will have zero trade value. Teams will know that they're not going to have to give up draft picks or young pieces or proven pieces to get DeMarcus, because after next year, guess what? The cap goes up again, and he's unrestricted with no bird rights, which means they don't have to give anything up for him. They can just sign him.
Yeah.
So it's win or go home for the Sacramento Kings with the future of DeMarcus Cousins after this season.
I don't know if it's win or go home. I think you need to set yourself up on the road to be winning. So you need to make strides. You need to make progress. You don't need to do what we've done the last 2 or 3 years, and that's just stay stagnant. I think that you need to be you need to shoot for 40 to 42 games.
I think you have to be sniffing. You have to be, at the end of the season, you have to be either in the 8th seed or within a game or two.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
And the reason why I say that is because once you get to that point, you know what pieces you have, and it's only a tweak. Right. There's no, we need this gap filled. It's, we need a little bit more depth here because we didn't have enough legs at the end of the season, or we need a little bit better shooting. Right now, they don't have a shooting guard. They don't have a point guard. They don't have a small forward because Rudy Gay is ultimately going to be gone.
Right.
They have DeMarcus Cousins and Willie Cauley-Stein, and that's basically it.
6 centers.
And 6 other centers, and a coach that DeMarcus actually believes in.
Right.
You need more.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. It's time for patience. Everyone's preaching patience on Vlade and let him do what he wants to do. I strongly believe that this team with free agency is going to be 100% different than what we're even looking at now
Oh,
or
absolutely.
last season.
Absolutely.
We're going to see some moves that that are going to blow our mind that teams are willing to make. And we're going to see this team turn a corner this season, I strongly believe, going into it. Because there's no hope. Because if you think about it, they're going to have to get a pretty damn big haul for him at this All-Star break or this trade deadline. Otherwise, we're looking at 3 or 4 more years of rebuilding again.
Yeah.
Because,
I agree.
Because what are you going to get for him? I mean, you'll get a trade for him next season, but you're not going to get you're not going to get a piece.
You're not going to get a whole lot, even if it's at the trading deadline. I just don't.
You will this year.
I don't know that you will. I mean, nobody that's going to make a playoff run is going to give a big piece away to their
No,
team.
but I can see a team that only has a piece or two that's a good piece. Like let's say Chicago. I always use Chicago's for example because I like some of their pieces there.
Right.
I could see at the deadline if Chicago's hurt and not making it, I could see something along the lines of a first-round pick, a Doug McDermott, and a Jimmy Butler for DeMarcus. And while that's not equal value in a sense, because obviously DeMarcus is leaps and bounds above Jimmy Butler and Doug McDermott, that right there is about the value you're probably going to get. You're not going to get a superstar for him knowing that he's on the brink of a free agent season.
But like we've talked about in the past with DeMarcus, 3 or 4 good players are going to be better than one great player.
Exactly.
And to answer Keith's point, I'm not against. I'm not a DeMarcus hater. I like DeMarcus. I think that he's supremely talented. He's just undisciplined. He plays just way out of control, and I don't like the way he's played his game. I'm willing to give him a chance this year under a coach that will have some control over him. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of backed off on the we need to trade DeMarcus argument too. I'm still not convinced that he's going to be the leader of this team to take us to the
I don't
playoffs.
think he wants to be the leader of this team. I think,
I don't think he's going to be the piece that gets us there, because I think he's always going to fall back on wanting to be a point guard, a 3-point shooter, and bitching at every foul. I don't think you're going to change that out of him.
No.
So,
I think though, if you're able to bring in a Mike Conley, if you're able to re-sign Rondo and get a good piece for Rudy Gay and get a different player in there, because Rudy Gay and Rondo and Cousins just don't seem to blend very well.
No. But Rondo didn't make much of a difference on DeMarcus' attitude this year. So it's got to be somebody with a strong personality.
It does, but Rondo has something special that makes a player like DeMarcus happy, and that's finding the ball, getting the ball to him in special ways of doing it. And I think that's going to help tremendously going forward again.
I don't know that Rondo liked playing with Cousins, though.
He's open to coming back, so there's obviously something there.
Well, I think that's more a function of there's not a lot of people that want him.
That's true. There's a lot of talks that Rondo may, want more around like the mid range, like 14 to 16 million. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't either.
But we'll talk about that here in a minute. So there's 14 of you listening right now. Do not leave. We are going to reset Mixler and come right back. So just stay on the channel. It'll rebuffer and start up. We're going to talk about that NBA free agency. So give us 30 seconds. Not even.
This chat line's killing me tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And we're back. All right, and fucking 10 people dropped off. How the hell does that work? Anyways, must have been a delay.
Oh, wow.
It's all right, though. Let's talk NBA free agency. So there is some rumors going around right now, and there's some interesting stuff. So one of the teams that a lot of people thought Kevin Durant, one of the head free agent players coming into this year, was going to go to, quite possibly, was Washington, his hometown. He's from the capital area. And report came out today that Durant is going to meet with the Warriors, the Spurs, and the Heat, and that's it.
Yeah. He's
shutting the Warriors. He's shutting the Lakers. He's basically, I want to win.
No,
now.
The Wizards. He's shutting the Wizards. You said the Warriors.
I said the Warriors. I'm sorry, the Wizards. He won't meet with the Lakers. Blah, blah, blah. He's leaning toward right now the Warriors and the Heat are his leading candidates. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine him on the Spurs? Holy shit!
The Spurs won't re-sign Ginobili if that happens. But
no, they want to get rid of. They want to get rid of Ginobili.
He already opted out.
Yeah.
So can you imagine that? LaMarcus Aldridge. Did Duncan retire? No. Duncan's playing one more.
No, he's.
So you have Aldridge, Duncan, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker.
And Tony Parker, they're looking at Mike Conley Jr. to replace
Ginobili.
Parker.
Oh, Parker, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for next year. After next year,
Yeah.
he's planning on retiring.
Yeah. So, I mean, can you imagine? I'm a Kings fan. Everybody knows that. I would love to see Durant play for the Spurs.
With Pop, can you imagine just how much control that would be?
Oh, God, that would be stunning. And that would be a chance to go 75-7.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I mean, I could see them going. I could see that record breaking with that.
On the flip side of that, though, if he goes to the Warriors, I don't
feel as comfortable with him on the Warriors as I would on the Spurs.
But if there's a day that Barnes is off or Clay's off, or not Barnes, I'm sorry, if Green or Clay or Steph is off, and you have a backup plan of Durant as your third with Bogut with. So basically,
who does Durant replace out of the starting lineup?
It would. That's what I was about to say. No, that's the thing. It would be Bogut at the center,
right?
Green at the power forward.
Okay.
Durant at the 3, Thompson at the 2, Curry at the 1.
God.
And then you have Iguodala coming off the bench at the 6. If they re-sign Barnes, they have Barnes. They still have Livingston. They have, if they find a way to re-sign Azili, they have Azili, and they have what's his name, Maurice Spates coming off the bench. Like that, so you say,
the only problem is, are there enough basketballs to go around? Do you think?
Because I don't think Durant has a problem with being that third or fourth wheel.
Yeah, you're probably right. God.
You know what I mean? And you said, oh, I'm not really confident about that. But when you break it down, when you actually hear
the
that
more
lineup,
I think about it, it's like, damn.
That would immediately put it in the same situation we had this year. It's either going to be the Spurs or the Warriors running away with the league.
Right.
I mean, obviously Cleveland came back and won the championship this year, but
you replace Tony Parker and Ginobili with Kevin Durant. You take 8 years of legs. I mean, 8 years fresher legs.
And then you add in Conley if they could sign Conley Jr.
Oh God!
Good Lord! And then they can bring in Jimmer again. I mean,
maybe they'll sign Casas Castillo.
Oh, then they still have Varejao. Down there. Good Lord, that would be insanity.
So
But then even if you think about it too, even if Durant wants to sign with the Heat. You put Durant and Wade together. They have
we've seen this show before though.
But they have Goran Dragic. They have Whiteside's most likely going to be gone. But I mean, they have some decent pieces down there.
Yeah, but
too.
Who knows what's going on with Chris Bosh too? They need to have him there to fill out the big
That's
three.
true. But I mean, even down there though, that would be a fun one to watch. Reports are that. Obviously the Knicks got a little bit better by bringing in Derrick Rose. They gave up a lot for him, but they brought in Rose. Hi, this is Greg Bull, exactly. Orlando got good on defense. I think Orlando got the fucking bonehead trade of the year though for the playoff or for the draft, trading Victor Oladipo, Ilyasova, and whatever pick they traded to OKC for Serge Ibaka. You basically just gave OKC the green light to not get in a bidding war with Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Save a shitload of money to sign Russell Westbrook for a multi-year deal in the future. And you got one of the up-and-coming 2 guards in the league for a guy who was going to leave next season anyways.
Yep.
So that right there gives me hope that if DeMarcus were a flight risk after another non-winning season, that namesake alone could land you a good player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
probably.
It's ridiculous. There's been talks that the Kings could look in the direction of Mike Conley at point guard.
I don't think he's coming here.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think he's coming
unless his relationship with Jaeger is
that's the only thing
bigger than we thought.
That's the only thing that's gonna make that happen.
I think another thing that's gonna have to happen is Rudy Gay's gonna have to go because reports are that Jaeger and Rudy did not get along, and Conley and Rudy did not get along in his time in Memphis. Kosta Koufos is a big part of him possibly coming here as well. They got along really well when he played in Memphis. So there are some pieces here that could bring Conley here. I just don't think. I think the allure of a San Antonio to be the replacement of a Tony Parker is way higher.
Oh, yeah.
There's been talks that the Kings are going to look into Courtney Lee. There's obviously talks of Ryan Anderson.
You know, going back to San Antonio, what do you think the prospect of Pop retiring when Duncan retires might put a little bit of a damper on Durant and Conley going to San Antonio? Because there's been a lot. Oh, God.
Damn it, Barn Bomb.
What now?
If DeMarcus is a flight risk, then what airline is he a risk to the most?
All right, Mike.
Hi, this is Mike.
You were funny earlier tonight. You know, a good comedian knows when to stop. Good comedian knows when to stop.
What were we saying? Oh, is Pop going to retire? No, I don't think so.
Well, because he came out a couple of years ago and said, I'm going to coach until Duncan retires, and we're going to ride off into the sunset together. And I don't know that Duncan has more than a year left.
Here's why I don't think that's going to happen. Because, and I was going to talk about this in a few minutes when we get to the Olympic roster. This is Mike Krzyzewski's last year.
Right.
And Pop is taking over for Team USA basketball. So if he's still coaching Team USA, why wouldn't you keep coaching the Spurs to keep everything fresh? You know what I mean? You're not going to take 4 years off or 2 years off to do World Championships and then take 2 years off again and then coach again. You're going to want to keep that fresh because then you're representing your country.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
So I could see Pop coaching another number of years, especially if he can get Durant or Conley or a few of these other guys in there and then build another big-headed monster. Because then, think about it. Parker and Duncan leave and Ginobili's gone. You just took one of the most successful three-headed players, Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, and you essentially slide in Aldridge, Conley, Durant, Leonard. You have a four-headed monster now. Why would you walk away from that?
I don't know. It's Pop. Pop does what Pop wants to do.
And I can't wait. When Pop retires, I cannot wait for his press conference.
Oh, God.
So, Pop, what would you say about your career as coach? It was good. What are your plans for the future? Mimosas.
I have a whole different idea. My picture.
Or it's going to be the most elaborate press conference.
No,
ever.
It's going to be Dick Vermeil all over again, where every other sentence he starts bawling.
Oh, just
crying like a little girl. Yeah,
that'd be great. Speaking of that, NBA basketball, or I'm sorry, I keep calling it NBA Olympic roster. The Olympic roster set.
Yeah, pretty much the NBA roster.
Let's see. Right now,
which I have a problem with.
So they invited Kyrie Irving to take a spot. So as of right now, and it's gonna be the 12-man is gonna be unveiled tomorrow afternoon in New York City. However, right now the roster is Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, and DeMar DeRozan at point guard or at guards. Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, Draymond Green, and Harrison Barnes at the forward. DeAndre Jordan.
I didn't see Harrison Barnes.
DeAndre Jordan and DeMarcus Cousins are the center.
I think the only one I don't like is Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I don't like Carmelo Anthony as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. That goes without
saying. Americans will be heavy favorites in Rio, the 12-team field, to win their third consecutive gold medal under coach Mike Krzyzewski, who is ceding his post to Greg Popovich of the Spurs following these games after a decade in charge of Team USA.
Right.
The Vertical first reported Saturday that Barnes had an accepted invite to play for Team USA, joining Warrior teammates Thompson and Green. Krzyzewski and his staff will hold a 4-day training camp in Vegas from July 18th to 21st, and then the team will play 5 exhibition games starting July 22nd against Argentina, and ending August 1st against Nigeria. The Olympic basketball tournament will take place from August 6th to August 21st in Rio de Janeiro. Here's my question. After Paul George went down last year with that horrific leg injury in the scrimmage, why even hold exhibition games for USA basketball? You're going to run through everybody.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I think they do it because it's a moneymaker. I mean, I think they can make
sell
money.
tickets like you wouldn't fucking believe for that.
Exactly. And to get the hype up and to bring in all the non-basketball fans to get used to who's playing and watch them play.
That's true.
You know, it's a warm-up, and they're not going to play. They're going to spread out the minutes, and everybody's going to get to play a lot. And it's going to be and one all over again. I have a whole problem with the NBA supplying players to the Olympics anyway.
Oh, me too.
Did you see what happened? Did you see what the WBA and WBC boxing commissions ruled on the Olympic boxers?
No.
So maybe I should do this as I'll save that. I'll save that and do that as an Are You Kidding Me?
All right, so let's talk about this real quick since we're still talking NBA. Charles Barkley, Chuck. The Chuckster, came out and they asked him about some players. And obviously Charles Barkley is in the top 50, NBA's 50 greatest.
Absolutely.
No argument there.
And one of the funniest persons to listen to, too. Never has something.
TNT analyst Charles Barkley does not think LeBron James is one of the top 5 NBA players of all time. He said on Any Given Wednesday with Bill Simmons. Barkley has expressed that stance before and recently ranked Michael Jordan, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, and Tim Duncan as his top 7 NBA greats. Barkley said his group of players he considered top 5 greats will never change, leaving no room for James to crack the list. I'm not going to just move him past Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant. They didn't just die, Barkley said, but I will say this about LeBron James. I've never seen a man coming out of high school who has handled this success, been a great player, never got in a stitch of trouble. It's probably been the greatest career ever. James has won NBA MVP 4 times, tied with Chamberlain, and just behind Jordan's 5, Russell's 5, and Abdul-Jabbar's 6. He just won his 3rd NBA championship, ranks far behind Russell's NBA leading 11th with the Boston Celtics. Do you agree or disagree with Charles Barkley that LeBron James will never be a top 5 NBA player?
Boy. I mean, I have a whole problem. I mean, what a waste of time. Who cares if he's a top 5 player or not? He's a great player. He's an all-time great. At some point, I kind of agree with Charles. There's not going to be room for another 5 players. You can't have 10 in the top 5.
You're going to have to do it based on era. It'll have to be
I mean, who cares? This whole argument about is he the best? Has he replaced Jordan? No, but just appreciate him for what he does.
Did you see Michael Jordan at his youth camp last week?
Yeah, I did.
So I know it's going to be all over ESPN, and it's going to be all over ESPN. They're going to ask, in my prime, could I beat LeBron James? And everyone starts laughing and whatever. He looks around and he goes, absolutely. And moved on to the next question. Thought it was great.
I did too.
And then something else that came out about Jordan that I found to be fantastic. And it was all those. So LeBron, arguably, we can say LeBron in this finals probably had one of the best NBA finals ever.
Yeah, I'll agree
He
with
led both teams in every statistical category.
I think I know where you're going with this.
He single-handedly brought the Cavaliers a championship, or Cleveland a championship, first time in like 52 years, right?
Right.
All these memes popped up. LeBron, best game 7 ever. He had the best series. Jordan never did what he did in this finals, blah, 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 blah. There's a meme of Jordan with doing his shrug. It says, yeah, LeBron had the best game 7 ever, but none of my teams ever even had to play a game 7.
I died laughing
He
when I
could
saw
have that category.
I saw that. That was great.
And I never thought about that.
I didn't either until I saw that.
Until I saw that. I'm like, damn, the closest they got was game 6 against the Jazz.
Yeah.
He never pushed the games. He never even had to suit up for a game 7.
No. So, yeah.
Amazing. Like, I was just like, that is fucking fantastic. Pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I like that. Did you see what Charles Barkley said when they asked him what he was going to do this summer?
Oh, God, no.
He said nothing. He said, I'm not doing a damn thing. That's what happens when you're rich. You can do nothing and not have to worry about it.
I love Barkley, dude. Fucking love that guy. Let's see here. Let's do...
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me? You kidding me, right?
Are you kidding me?
You kidding? You kidding me? You kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
You kidding me? You kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
It's time for Are You Kidding Me? Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first.
All right.
So, talking about the Olympics and professionals, this year is the first time that pro boxers are allowed to fight in the Olympics.
Okay.
And I believe it might have been the IBF or the WBA or one of the alphabet groups of boxing came out.
The ABCs?
Yeah. Came out and said, fine, well, we're all right with professionals going to box. If you do, you're going to be banned from boxing for a year. And the reason they said that was, and it kind of made sense, is we don't want professional boxers going down and taking advantage of amateurs and beating the snot out of them and risking a major injury of somebody who's just not as good as a pro boxer. So, I know it's an "Are you kidding me?" but I think the "Are you kidding me?" is the boxing governing bodies actually got something right for once. So that's
you know who should be in the Olympics?
who.
Lesnar.
That's when I hit the button.
We haven't played that all night.
No, it's been a little while.
I know.
What else haven't we played? This one?
Mike Crotch is popular with the animals.
All right. You had another one, right?
I have another one later on. Yeah. Do you have one?
You can go ahead and go first.
This is a quickie.
I love quickies.
I know. We talked about that earlier too tonight, didn't we?
Did we?
Quickies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Fucking kids. God damn it.
So, one of the best times of every 4 years is happening this week, and that is the U.S. Olympic swimming trials.
Sorry. No, it's fun. It's America. You gotta love America.
America.
Speaking of America, we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Squirrel!
That'll be in my afterthoughts. Something awesome that has to do with America.
Anyway, so the Olympic trials started tonight. Today was the first day that they're selecting members of the Olympic team. And in the very first event, one of the defending gold medalists
Died.
They didn't die.
Damn it.
Didn't make the team. Might as well die.
Phelps?
Ryan Lochte
Really? Well,
was the defending champion in the 400 IM, got third in the
is it top two advance?
top two advance.
Ooh.
So he's done in the 400 IM.
Well, he'll still be in the Olympics, but
He'll still be in the Olympics, yeah, but he's not going to swim one of his best events, which, it's. I'm not really a big Lochte fan because I think he's just a big dumb idiot. But
all right, bingo or bullshit. He's a bigger dumb idiot than Michael Phelps.
oh, bingo,
Bingo.
bingo.
Look at that. We got bingo or bullshit in.
Yes, there you go.
Benchmarks matter.
So he didn't make it, and a lot of controversy. There's some new rules that they're really being stiff on, and a couple of people got disqualified. But so I'm not really that disappointed because I think he's a big lummox. But so that's my second.
All right, so mine involves. Hold on. Nice. My buddy just messaged me, said, so it's kind of crazy. When your show comes on, it just pops up on my computer when you guys start. No windows open, nothing. Just the audio decides to come on. Even tried restarting the computer to see if it would close, but pops up with your next show. It's like I'm being forced to listen.
Good.
Awesome. That's why we have so many listeners. They're like, damn it, they're on again. I was going to start turning on my mic like midway through the day on like random days. Be like watching porn or something. It's like Sports Talk 916 Live. Listen.
Oh, what a way to blow that one off, huh? So to speak.
Hold on, I gotta find something here.
By the way, I can't get into the list of people who are listening to the show right now. I can get into the chat box, but yes, Keith, Lochte is an airhead. He had a reality show for about 3 weeks, and it was I have never spent 1 minute watching the Kardashians or any of those idiots. He had to make them look like Einstein.
Shaq's family's getting a reality show. He said they're going to be the next Kardashian. I'll watch that one. Shaq is fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I missed that Shaq versus show when he used to challenge people in their sport. Oh, it was great.
He did one with Michael Phelps.
Yeah, and almost beat him. I mean, obviously, it was a stacked race. Like, it was like a 400, but he only had to swim a 200 or whatever.
It just proved stereotypes is what it did.
That one did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so mine involves Mr. Johnny Manziel.
Oh, God. Johnny drug addict.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's about. So first of all, his lawyer accidentally sent a text to the AP, Associated Press, instead of one of his colleagues.
How do you accidentally send a text to the AP?
I don't know, but basically it was admitting that they were working on a plea deal for his domestic violence case. And the text basically, and I'm paraphrasing because I remember exactly what it said, but the text basically said, God forbid this plea deal includes a piss test. Like, there's no way he's going to pass this test, right? Something about the fact that he spent like thousands of dollars on drugs in the past like month.
Oh, so I heard that fact.
So
when you're done, I'll cover it.
My Are You Kidding Me is about the father-son relationship between Johnny Manziel and his dad. I'm just going to go ahead and just read this. It's right from SI.com. It says, Johnny Manziel's father, Paul, called his son a druggie and discussed several failed attempts to help troubled former Browns quarterback in an interview with ESPN's Josina Anderson on Friday. He's a druggie. It's not a secret that he's a druggie, Paul Manziel said. I don't know what to say other than my son is a druggie and he needs help. He just hasn't sought it yet. Hopefully he doesn't die before he comes to his senses. That's all you can say. That's all you can say about that. I don't know what else to say. I hate to say it, but I hope he goes to jail. I mean, that would be the best place for him, so we'll see. An accidental text sent from Johnny Manziel's lawyer to the Associated Press on Friday revealed that Manziel has spent over $1,000 at a drug paraphernalia shop 15 hours after his hit-and-run crash earlier this week.
Yep.
In the interview, Paul Manziel said that the family has tried to help Johnny, but he hasn't been willing to cooperate. Said, I had him in rehab and he escaped and the doctors let him go, and that was the whole other story. We've done everything that we can do. Life goes on. You just can't chase somebody that's not willing to listen. The story is not going to change. It's the same. Manziel's father feels the family has virtually exhausted all ways possible to help their son. We're so far past that, he said. That was years ago. We're so far past what everybody thinks we are past. People are ignorant. It's just a horrible story. That's all there is to it. Manziel, who's currently a free agent, has reportedly been preparing to play football again in 2016 after being released by the Browns in March. Since his release, he has been charged with a misdemeanor assault and an incident involving his ex-girlfriend. Manziel's hearing for the hit-and-run incident was held Friday. In the accidental message of the AP, Manziel's lawyer said he is seeking a plea deal, but like I said, they hope that there's not a piss test. His dad says he needs to go to jail. Like, holy crap. Like, that, or I guess it's not called holy crap. It's, are you kidding me? Wow. Like, and that's not just like I was sitting at like Starbucks and I heard Johnny Manziel's dad talking to his buddy.
No.
That was an interview with ESPN.
That's somebody that's just the hit. I mean, that's rock bottom. When your family's gone, you just need to go to jail. You know, that's just rock bottom. And this kid he's hit it and is going nowhere fast.
TJ.
Bingo.
TJ says that's a dad who cares.
Yeah,
honestly,
absolutely.
it is.
You're
Put
right.
all the spotlight on him. Make sure he gets help. But holy crap, dude. I was like, good Lord. Like, I read that. I was laying in bed the other night and I started laughing. Well, first I laughed at the fact that the lawyer sent out a text to the AP that said, hopefully there's not a piss test in this plea deal. Man.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's hear a couple commercials because we've been skipping all those. And we're going to talk about the Giants, our gentleman's bet with Corner Pub Sports, and the upcoming season or upcoming series, 4-game series, 2 home, 2 away with the Oakland Athletics.
If you or anyone you know is thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, they deserve to have someone working with them that not only knows what they're doing, but will explain everything that happens along the way. That person would be me, Coach Greg Veroza of Keller Williams Realty. I have 2 goals. My first goal is to coach you through the buying and selling process, making it easy to understand and as stress-free as possible, which isn't easy sometimes. My second goal is to have fun doing it. Come be a part of my team. Let me coach you or anyone you know through the real estate process. Give me a call at 916-241-8068, and let's talk about how I can coach you through the real estate process. Let me ask you one question. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate that I should know right now? Again, that's Greg Veroza, Keller Williams Realty, 916-241-8068.
Hey guys, Greg here.
And Sheena too.
We just wanted to take a minute of your time to tell you about this awesome local company who has helped us tremendously in the obstacle course racing world.
Seriously, we get banged up enough on these courses, and these products have saved us on many obstacles.
When Sheena and I were getting prepared for our first Spartan race last year, we found the original Warrior Pack and bought some of their gear. After a couple races, we loved their products so much, it was a no-brainer for us to join their race team.
Yeah, and we just completed another run at AT&T Park and finished blister-free thanks to their gloves. I wore the full finger gloves and didn't even break a nail.
You are such a girl. Anyways, guys, go to originalwirepack.com and check out their stuff for all of your OCR needs. And don't forget to use code ST916 for 10% off all of your purchases. Again, that's www.originalwarriorpack.com. Pack is spelled P-A-K for all of your OCR needs.
This is Andrew Susak of your Sacramento River Cats, and this is Sports Talk 916.
That's right. Susak is at the Rivercats, not the Giants, but I can't find any of my Giants buffers. So let's talk about the San Francisco Giants and our buddies out in Philly. So we had a gentleman's bet.
I want to hear this escalator.
Escalation. So they had me on Friday night. We talked about the draft, and then our gentleman's bet came up. We kind of rehashed it, make sure everything was still a go. The agreement was whoever wins the series has to don a hat or shirt or whatever of your other team, put it on social media, whatever. If either team swept the series, either side, and I threw it out there as a joke, I was just fucking around, and they took it. I was like, you have to find a lingerie item of said opposing team and wear it in some fashion. And I was 100% not kidding. I expected them just to ignore it and blow by it and continue on the conversation. They're like, okay. And I'm like, oh, fuck. The only saving grace to me not trying to back out of it was that we had Cueto and Bumgarner going, so I knew we were going to win at least one of the 3 games.
Don't you ever do something stupid like that again without talking to me first. Because you know what? You would have been out there on an island all by yourself.
I probably would have just had Sheena do it.
Well, yeah, that's
And then
probably...
she's a voice.
Then they wouldn't have cared.
She's a voice on the show, so we can
And they
just-
wouldn't have cared.
Right. So, but the Giants did win.
You might be sleeping on the couch, but...
The Giants did win 2 of 3. They did win the series, so
Yes,
the Corner Pub guys will have to oblige and wear some kind of Giants gear, which I have a feeling they'll be able to find Giants gear much easier than we would have found Phillies gear.
Yep.
So we'll be looking forward to
Looking
that.
forward to those pictures coming up on Facebook.
Right? They were kind of pissed today about Cueto intentionally hitting Blanco of the Phillies. I thought that was kind of strange as well. You're up 5-1 and then you would intentionally throw at somebody. But, that's neither here nor there. The Giants are on an absolute roll right now. They're up 7.5 games on the Dodgers. Dodgers are playing the Pirates tonight. Keith, go Pirates. A quarter of the season's done, right? 42 games, or over the last quarter of a season, 42 games.
Right.
The Giants are 32-10. They have 4 more games to hit the halfway point. Right now, they're 21 games above 500. They've won 12 of the last 14. Completely just rolling along. They, for the first time since May 1st, a team not named the Chicago Cubs have the most wins in baseball.
Did the Cubs lose today?
I'm not sure, but the Giants currently have the most wins in baseball.
They must have lost because they were tied yesterday.
And the Rangers also passed the Cubs as well.
Right.
So the Rangers and Giants, most wins in baseball. Up next for the Giants is the Oakland Athletics.
It was like the next 27 games or something like that are against teams with losing records.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Keep piling on.
And the cool thing is they're doing this with a makeshift lineup. I mean, they have arguably their team leader is out. One of their focal points, an Angel Pagan.
Dodgers lost. The Giants are up 8 games now.
Okay. So Pagan was out. Duffy is out.
Pence is out.
That's their team leader. They're doing this with a makeshift lineup, a bunch of who knows who. And
Kane's out.
Kane's.
But, I mean, still, it's your fifth starter.
Absolutely.
We have Suarez in there.
And Peavy's inconsistent.
Romo's been out.
Yeah.
It's just up and down the lineup.
And their bullpen is horrible. They're getting it done. I don't know how, but their bullpen is horrible. I have no confidence in Castillo. They're throwing the shit out of the middle inning relievers. I'm hoping that they can all stay healthy, but who cares? I mean, they keep making do with what they have.
The saving grace is the A's come in 32-43. They lost today.
Yep.
They've lost 5 of their last 10. They've lost 5 of 5, or they're 5-5 of the last 10 games. Although something came out today that is not Oakland A's normal. A report came out today that the Oakland Athletics, Billy Beane, they have reopened contract extension discussions with Josh Reddick.
Really?
Right. I was like, did I read that right? Like, I was like, did he get traded and someone else was talking about it? So
maybe they're going to use that as trade bait.
Sign him to a big deal, then trade him?
Well, yeah, we'll sign him to an extension and trade him.
Maybe. Or just fucking trade him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so TJ Sportsky, bold prediction for the Bay Bridge series, Giants sweep all 4 games. I think it'll go 3-1. I think the Giants will find a way to lose one of the games. They had 3 one-run games against Philly, so let's look at it as it is. But the next 2 are in San Francisco. The following 2 are going to be in Oakland, which is a loss in its own. Have to go play at Oakland. So that'll be fun. That'll be a good series.
Does have my favorite ballpark food of all time, though. The Colossal Hot Dog.
That's true.
Yeah.
I almost think we should do a gentleman's bet with Barn Bomb. No, I don't want to wear Airs. My luck, I'll have to wear a fucking A's hat. I'm not doing that. Barn Bomb says
Barn Bomb and TJ.
Barn Bomb says the Dodgers are not garbage.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. They are extreme garbage.
Mike, we're Giants fans, so they're garbage.
So there's that. But yeah, the Giants are looking good. I mean, they still need to make a move. They still need to find a way to upgrade a position out there. But Jared Parker's looking good. Pena they pulled up from Sacramento is looking fantastic. The Giants are just playing really good baseball. And
What's that thing Pena has around his neck? I don't know. Have you seen that? He's got it looks like an Olympic gold medal or something around his neck.
Maybe it is. Yeah. Also today, Bruce Bochy, his win today, number 800 as a Giants manager.
Really?
Just as a Giants manager. Yeah, number 800.
So do you ever watch that show? You don't watch the Sports Reporters on Sunday mornings?
Sometimes.
So they did a whole thing on the Giants today about having the best general manager in baseball, which Sabian isn't really the general manager anymore.
Bobby Evans is.
Yeah, but they made it sound like Sabian was still the
Sabian
gentleman.
still has his finger in a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Of
He's pulling the strings. It's just Evans is the front man as general manager. They said they had not only a Hall of Fame manager, but probably the best manager in baseball. And they have a team that's playing great with the leader of Buster Posey, who's arguably a Hall of Fame level catcher. So they did a whole thing on how good they thought the Giants, and they were all happy about the Giants. So it was nice to see. You don't hear a lot of people talking about the Giants on a national level, and it was nice to hear somebody like that talk about the Giants.
Oh, I agree 100%. Barn Bomb, Bay Production, the home team will go undefeated, meaning the series will end up 2-2 split.
No way.
No way in hell.
No way.
No way. The A's may be able to steal one. And really, that's going to depend on probables for the A's because the Giants are going to throw Samardzija, Peavy, Suarez, Bumgarner.
Yeah.
So, it'll depend on which Peavy shows up. I'm not really worried about Suarez. He's been pitching really well, and it's going to be against the A's, so that should be okay. It's going to be depending on which Peavy and which Samardzija show up, really.
Yeah, because they're not going to touch Cueto. They're not going to touch Bumgarner.
Well, they're not going to pitch against Cueto either, so.
Oh, well.
Cueto pitched today.
Yeah, never mind.
All right, so let's go ahead and go around the sports world. Do you have any update on Joe DiMaggio's hitting streak? God damn it.
Yeah, I think it's up to about 40 games now. I think he went 1 for 2 with 2 walks.
Travel around the wide world of sports with this week's headlines. Fuck, man. That haunts me. You and Jason both last week on Monday after the show, instantly when that alert came in, I got a message from both of you. Boom, DiMaggio got a hit today. I'm like, fuck you both. I hate you all.
Hey, this just in. Joe DiMaggio's still dead.
I'm going to make a prediction right now.
What?
You guys ready for it? Breaking news. Joe DiMaggio will reach 56 games before this hitting streak ends.
I got another little tidbit for you. After the game that he goes 0 for, he's going to get in another hitting streak and hit about 25 or 30 more games.
I don't know. That seems a little far-fetched.
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. 56 would be pretty tough. Let's do headlines.
Especially for a center fielder in the Yankees.
Right. Headlines. Remember the name Pat Summitt?
Yeah, I do. I saw this.
Tennessee Volunteers women's coach, all-time winningest women's coach in basketball
sad.
history. Former Tennessee women's basketball coach Pat Summitt is struggling with early onset dementia, and her family is, quote, preparing for the worst, according to the Knoxville News Sentinel. Family and former players were with Summitt on Saturday at the retirement center she lived at since January, and preparations are being made to issue public statements about her condition if necessary.
Yeah.
Quoting an unnamed source, the News Sentinel reports that the close to Summitt are unsure how much longer she will live.
Yeah, that's so sad. I mean, I'm a coach fan. I love coaches. I'm being a coach myself, and I always look to those that are successful and do it right. And she is the first female coach that I can honestly say is that I've recognized as somebody that could probably coach in the NBA.
Oh yeah,
and coach men's basketball. I would have loved to seen her have the chance of coaching against the guys in NCAA basketball. I think she would have done phenomenal.
Oh, I think so too. The Pat Summitt Foundation put out a statement today. On behalf of Pat Summitt's family, we acknowledge the past few days have been difficult for Pat as her early onset dementia, Alzheimer's type, progresses. She is surrounded by those who mean the most to her, and during this time, we ask for prayers for Pat and her family and friends, as well as your utmost respect and privacy.
Sad.
It is very sad. Let's move on to name Tavares Jackson. Ring a bell?
It does.
Former quarterback of multiple teams, most recently of the Vikings. He was arrested this week for pulling a gun on his wife.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, real good guy. Let's see. Baseball. Indians rolling Juan Uribe's back. He must have found a cup. They've won 9 straight. They dismantled Verlander and the Tigers today.
He found a cup, but his voice is 2 octaves higher.
Yeah, right. It's a little bit tight. The Nationals break a 7-game losing streak with a win today.
Did you see that throw that Bryce Harper made?
I did not.
It was a single. It was a single to right field. I think it was against. I don't know who they played this weekend. Cleveland, maybe.
No, they didn't play Cleveland. They've won. They played. I don't know.
Oh, it was a National League team anyway.
Oh, I can tell you, Milwaukee.
Yeah. So single to right. They send Ryan Braun to score from second base or whatever. Bryce Harper throws a seed to home plate. It was a strike, and they tagged Braun out by 4 feet.
Love it.
It was a seed.
So good news, they won their first game in 7.
Yep.
Bad news, Strasburg to the DL with a back injury.
Well, at least not a shoulder or an elbow.
Right.
At least not a shoulder.
We talked about Jose Reyes last week after he became paid $39 million to not play for the Rockies.
Yep.
Signed a minor league deal yesterday with the New York Mets. Full
Nice.
circle, started his career there, now he's back. NHL awarded expansion to Las Vegas. That means that the Maloof brothers are back in professional sports as minority owners.
Yep.
I will say, though, the best thing that I've ever read for a professional sports franchise linked to the Maloofs, while they are excited to be back in the league, they are only 17% owners of this team, I believe. It's a very small number. And they are in agreement that they will only be financial suitors in the back end. They have no decisions on hockey. They have no decisions on team personnel or business relations. They are basically just a partner.
We have the best fans in the NHL.
They wanted to get back in the league. So the story I read was the check from Vivek hadn't even essentially cleared the bank yet. And they were on the phone with the NHL commissioner. And basically he said, no, you're not going to be a full-fledged owner of a team in this league. However, contact whoever it is that's the majority owner of the team that's not named yet, and see what he wants.
I heard what the name's going to be.
What's it going to be?
The Black Knights.
See, I heard that a long time ago, but there's speculation that's not going to be the case anymore.
Oh, well, I heard that a couple days ago.
Oh,
and the reason is the owner went to the Army Academy.
Oh, okay.
And
that'd be cool.
Yeah. So, you know what the franchise fee for the expansion team was? Each team in the NHL gets a check for $16 million.
Jesus Christ.
So I think it was like $480 million.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So on top of that, though, hockey fans, you need to be aware that your team now will have to. So there's I I have to find it here. There's basically a format. They're going to be doing an expansion draft, obviously.
Right.
It happened back in the NBA when Charlotte came in the league. If you remember,
Anytime there's been an expansion,
the
there's an expansion draft.
the Kings lost Gerald Wallace to Charlotte.
Yep.
NHL expansion draft protections. So there's a different way of expansion's going to happen. It's supposed to happen sometime in June. Well, June's almost over, so I'm expecting it not to.
Next June, maybe?
Expansion announced by June, expansion rules. So,
expansion draft I don't think is until next year.
So the basics of the draft is teams can only lose one player for each expansion team that's added.
Right.
So if there's one team, the Flyers could lose one player. If two teams are added, they could lose two, blah, blah, blah. Teams can protect 3 defensive men, 7 forwards, and 1 goalie.
They can protect them, or they have to leave them.
They can protect them, or any group of 8 skaters, regardless of position, and 1 goalie. So they can kind of move it around how they want to do it. First and second year professional players would be exempt, so you wouldn't need to protect any one of your rookies or sophomores. One major difference between this draft and the last expansion draft is that teams can only protect 1 goalie. As Craig Christine points out, what might that mean for a team like Pittsburgh with Marc-Andre Fleury and the NHL, in the NHL, but a very highly touted future goaltender in Matt Murray as well? Tough decision. So I think that's kind of cool that they have different scenarios in which they can protect. It's not just protect 6 guys.
Right.
You can make a decision how you want to go about doing it, because if you have a defense that you don't want to get rid of, but you can only protect 3 defenders, you could go the route of, okay, well, I can protect 8, but then you lose a chance of protecting.
Yeah, but I think, and I haven't read that, but I know that with the NBA, there were a couple of teams that made trades and said, okay, we're going to give you our first-round draft pick if you don't pick anybody on our team. And so I can see a team like San Jose or a team like Pittsburgh who's deep doing something like that and giving him either a first-round pick or trading him a couple players to say, you stay out of, nobody... Don't take anybody from our team.
TJ says it's actually not a bad idea. It makes teams really think about who they value on their rosters.
Right.
I agree.
Right.
Let's see. USA took 4th in the Copa America Cup. Tony Stewart won the Toyota Save Mart 350 today in Sonoma. We already mentioned Bruce Bochy won his 800th game as a Giants manager, and Matt Cain is close to a rehab start with Sacramento.
Oh, nice. How's Romo doing?
Romo is doing good.
He's been playing. He's been throwing a little bit.
He's been playing a lot. Yeah, he's been throwing really well. And I mentioned earlier, so someone mentioned America.
Americans.
I have a question for anyone that's in the chat box right now. Chime in. Have you seen the Dudeoir posts? A guy named Joshua. We mentioned him before. He's a bails bondsman up here in El Dorado Hills. The Dudeoir guy. So American Man. Hashtag American Man. If you look closely at the name, his name is Joshua Veroza. And Greg, how is he linked to you?
He's a very distant cousin. I mean, I've actually never met him. We've talked on Facebook a lot. There's a whole big family of Roses up in El Dorado Hills, but we kind of did a little bit of looking back, and I think somewhere along the line there's some family ties. So he's a distant cousin of mine.
All right, so if you've seen the Dudeoir photos, they hit the internet, they went viral. They've been everywhere. He's been all over the news. He was mentioned on Chelsea Handler. He was on KNCI. He posted today on Facebook that he got recognized today at the coffee shop. Like, he's getting recognized everywhere. We are in the process of landing him hopefully next weekend on our 4th of July show, essentially. What could be more American than the show right before 4th of July on July 3rd?
And I talked to him the other day when I pitched this to you, and he's pretty excited about it. I mean, he's got a great attitude about the whole thing. If you listen to the KNCI interview, he's not taking himself too seriously. You can tell that he doesn't just by looking at the pictures.
Well, we'll get him on the phone here. We'll let him have a full range. There's no censorship. He can just have fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he has a good time.
So we'll come up with some questions for him. If you guys have questions for him, send them to us on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll make sure they get asked. My big question for him is going to be beard related. He has an amazing beard, no homo. And I guess he's actually going down to LA for a beard competition soon.
He does that. He's done that before too.
So hopefully we'll have Joshua Rose, American Man, on next week's show. And I think that'll be great going into.
Yeah, stay tuned to Twitter and Facebook. We'll let
we'll
you know
definitely
for sure.
keep you guys updated on that. Thanks to him, our latest Facebook post actually has the most views we've ever had on a Facebook post.
Really?
So I tagged him in a post. He liked it. He shared it. He seemed, like I said, like you said, he seems to be pretty excited about it. It was before the draft.
The following 15 seconds radio.
American Man, here we go. So I mentioned that he wants to, we may have him on the show. 1,038 people have seen the post.
Jesus Christ.
The next closest one was like 600. So there's great to that. Also, one final thought for all you WWE fans.
Oh, God.
There was a leak for WWE. They're doing a brand split. They're basically splitting Raw and SmackDown up again. Well, they're doing a live draft. They're trying to distribute, get everything going. Shane McMahon's going to run SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon's going to run Raw.
What's Triple H going to do?
He'll be on Raw and then still working NXT. But they are bringing back some old pay-per-views. They're creating new pay-per-views because they're going to have brand specific on October 9th.
Of this year or next
year? Of this year. It'll be a SmackDown pay-per-view. They're bringing back No Mercy. They haven't had that for years.
Whatever.
It will be at the Golden One Center.
Nice.
So October 9th, Golden One Center. It's not yet listed. However, it has been confirmed.
I'm getting more and more excited about that place opening up. I heard the other day they're putting down the hardwood for the floors right now.
Well, they're putting down the hardwood for the practice facility for sure. I'm not sure.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay, I just saw that. So let me ask you this. I was watching arena football. Do you think there's a chance we'll get an arena football team?
I would love that. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. I'm all over that.
It's built for hockey, so it's the same dimension.
Is it built for hockey?
They did build it for hockey. So
okay.
They will have the capability of, I would imagine, putting arena football, and it's not much bigger than arena.
No.
Or I think it's smaller than a hockey rink.
I think so, too.
So that'll be fun. But with that being said, for Mr. Veroza, I am Greg Bull, and we will talk to y'all next week.